Good morning, everyone. Naomi Tucker joined by Tim Tulloch. Yes, another good day of racing coming your way this Sunday. We've got 9 race cars, but yesterday, what a tremendous turnout in terms of fans as well as the support for our product.
Product well handled. We had a big handle yesterday. We had a good card, 5 double-digit winners, including all 3 stakes. We're all double-digit winners, so that was a big day. But yes, thanks to our fans who came out and supported the product, and it was a good day of racing.
Yeah, it truly was very enjoyable. We'll go over all these performances during the lightning round today. Of course, we had stakes races yesterday, Friday, and of course our big pie giveaway and Thanksgiving Day. But next weekend we are back with stage action on December the 4th. The Maryland Juvenile Filly, both $100,000. Look, this elite racing action just keeps on coming.
It just keeps on coming. If you enjoyed yesterday's races and stake races at Laurel Park, we come right back at you next week, the Saturday, the 4th. So good races to enjoy. Those are always those are always good races, these championship races for the juveniles. And our juveniles have been so strong this year. I expect to see 2 really good races.
I expect so as well. And we did start on Thanksgiving Day with the Best Turned Out Awards. Still continuing here. $25 goes to the groom of the horse that gets awarded Best Turned Out in every single race. Wonderful initiative here.
It really is. And you know, $25, people say 25, what? $25, you're putting in the effort, and the horses look good when they come in the paddock. It's a little bit of an incentive. Back at the days, real quick, at the fairs, when you brought a horse to the paddock, the paddock judge handed you $5, so you had a little extra money. And if your horse won, you went back to the test barn and they handed you another 10, so it goes a long way.
I love that.
Yes.
No, and also just the honors of being in charge of the Best Turned Out horse. So I remember once at Newbury Racecourse in England, I got the Best Turned Out award for the horse that I brought over for trainer Alistair Little at the time. And I was so proud. Also, it was nice I got $100. So that was pretty good. But it just I was so proud that they thought I turned the horse out the best of all of them, and I really had them peaking. So it was a little bit of honors there as well.
Yeah, sure, and it's important. I mean, these guys and girls who work on the back side and are grooming these horses, they work hard. You know, they're up there early in the morning all year round, and the mornings aren't getting easier right now. It's getting colder and colder. So a little incentive, and it makes them feel good, and it's important to recognize them for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't support this more. Let's have a look at your current track conditions. Fast main track, 43 Fahrenheit. It seems a bit similar every day now. We're just we've arrived at sort of the cooler weather, cooler season. I also expect that to continue.
Yes, it will continue for a while, and hopefully
it's gonna get warm again. No.
We'll have a little warming in late December, early January, but then, you know, we're gonna have some bad days. We're gonna have some cold days, so we're gonna enjoy this while we can. It's a beautiful day out there this afternoon. A little bit of wind, but nothing to speak of. Not like we had a couple days ago when the wind was really whipping. But should be a nice day. Horses enjoy this type of weather.
They absolutely do. I think the people perhaps a little bit less. I know that I was trying to find some warmer area yesterday whilst being outside all the time, but the horses love this. They're very comfortable. It just means, they don't get overheated too much. They feel themselves a little bit in the morning, a little bit fresh sometimes on those colder winter mornings.
Yeah, they're moderate weather animals. They don't like it way too cold. They don't like it way too hot. They like it just like Goldilocks likes her porridge, just right, and this is close to just right. It's nice. It gives a little bump in their step and doesn't take too much out of them.
Trust you to bring porridge into the equation.
Yeah, well, I'm not hungry. I've eaten enough over the last 3 or 4 days, but it came to my mind.
Let's get going here with the 9 race card. Race number 1 starts the early pick. 5 maiden claimers, 16 to 12,500, 5.5 furlongs. The sprinting distance, and the number 5 Special Freedom, our top selection in here for trainer Carlos Mancia. Look, she's been well bet in her last 2 at this level. She's done well enough, just didn't get the win on the day, but those 2 efforts would be good enough to win in this field.
No doubt about it. Look, she ran into a runaway winner in her last start. That you got a call, you never call, or ran away and hid that day. She ran behind a next out winner 2 starts ago. So this race and the figures here are going to work. They actually stand over the field a little bit if they do. If she can run back to that type of race. Either one of those races are good enough to win here this afternoon.
And then both of us have La Atana in our exact. She showed early interest, but ended up backing up. But she does get Lasix this time and get a more ground-saving trip possibly as well, because she was kind of stuck wide.
She was. First off the claim for Mikey Gorham. He hits at about 29%, and he gave this one a little breather, a couple work since then. This type of layoff, about 18%. And as you mentioned, adding Lasix for the first time. Something I really don't like to talk about, but in this case and at this level, you have to mention it.
Yeah, it could make a difference for sure. Race number 2, start of the early pick 4. Today, you're our early pick 4, Tim.
I am. Well, someone had to come off the bench for Keith Fustel, who's not with us today. But look, race 2, I go 4 deep here in this 2-year-old $10,000 claiming event. I use the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6. The 4, Hicktown, is my top pick there. Race 3, 3 deep, 5, 6, 7. Race 4, I go 1, 2, and 8. My single comes in race 5, and that is on the 5, Galatians for Mary Epler. I think getting back to 2 turns helps this one a lot. And also, he's been running into some gorillas lately, and we'll get to that when we get to race 5. But there you go, $18 ticket to get you started in the early pick 4.
Yeah, I like your single. I did a late pick 4, couldn't nail it down on a single. So I like the fact that you found one. I do believe Callie found one as well later with the rainbow pick 6. $18 flat, claiming $10,000 for the 2-year-old ladies. 6 furlong the sprinting distance here. We do have a video spotlight on a couple of these that are facing each other for a bit of a rematch. You can see Chica Rabiosa right there. That is the number 2. And look, she's getting steady there. It looked like Cabra Chica just kind of came over, perhaps ever so slightly, and maybe Angel didn't have enough horse to keep her in that spot. We're looking there at No More Mask and Holiday Connection, both making a run late.
Yeah, both making a run late. No More Mask was up in and amongst it early, and you can see she's just getting a little tired from her earlier efforts. And Holiday Connection was getting down to that level for the first time. That race was going 7/8 of a mile. We turned back to 3/4 of a mile this afternoon. That's going to help both No More Mask and Holiday Connection. Now, keep in mind that race we watched, the horse that won the race and won easily, Cabra Chica, was a horse that was claimed in the spring for $40,000, and that one just kept dropping and dropping and dropping until she found her spot, and her spot was the maiden 10, where she ran off and hit. So this is a more fair race in all due respects to the rest of the field here today.
Yeah, I think you didn't use it, but I think Chica Rabiosa is going to enjoy the cut back to 6 with the abundance of speed that she showed. Look, there's a couple of other speedsters in here, but I just thought it didn't go in her direction at all in that last race. I'm giving her a second chance. But both of us used the number 4, Hicktown, for trainer Michael Merriman. First off the claim for the Merriman barn, she was favored in her last race against Tougher. Of course, we're looking for her to return to that debut score when she was with Dale Capuano.
Yeah, she was just behind a Next Out winner and Moody Woman in her last start. And yes, her first time out of the box, that was a big race. She ran a good figure for this group, but looks like she's going in the right direction in that last start, and she gets some class relief coming into the maiden 10 this afternoon. So I'll stick with Hicktown first off the claim for Michael Merriman.
I do as well. Race number 3, claiming 16 to 14,000 numbers of 3 lifetime. Mile and 16, 2 turns the distance. And let's go straight away to Inspector Frost. And we do have a video of, I do believe, 2 starts ago where he made it quite an emphatic victory. He came over, well, actually, he wasn't in the lead that day. He kind of had to work for it. Once he got to it on the backside, it looked like things were just kind of done. He was dominant at this level and now returns to it after stepping up to that starter allowance last time out.
And speaking of running away and hiding, he was pounds the best here. He was the 9 horse. He was the 8 horse. He broke from the 8 hole all the way on the outside, going a mile and 16th in that race. Not an easy thing to do. It was a great ride, Johan Rosado, that day. He didn't rush him on up there. He let him just kind of move on up and get position, and then he was just pounds the best in the stretch. They tried stepping up to 25,000, the starter. That didn't work. We're back at this level this afternoon, and I think that's going to be enough. And, you go back on his form, he's capable of these big races. Back in July at Delaware, he ran behind Plowman, only beaten ahead. We know how good Plowman's gotten, and then came back and ran behind Armando R., who's also in this race this afternoon. So the races are in him, and he can surely show them when he's spotted well, and he spotted well today.
Yeah, and then no worries about that 7 draw here, because like you said, already overcame it last time out too with a good rider. Carosini will have to be patient with it, but I think he's also just the fastest in this field, so I think he'll be able to get himself that forward momentum and at some point get his nose in front, which he loves to do. Both of us then landed on the number 5 Luxero. Gina Alvello stays on board. Alvello with a double from 2 rides yesterday.
2 rides yesterday, and one of those wins was for Claudio Gonzalez, so he's back with Claudio this afternoon. This is a 3-time winning 3-year-old. He's eligible because he is a 3-year-old this afternoon. And hey, look, he's stepping up a little bit into this race, but it is a lifetime condition, so it almost evens out. He ran a life best in his last start and a win 2 starts ago, so he's in very, very good form.
Yeah, you used the number 6, Dr. Ferber, underneath. I didn't get to him. It's more of a closing style horse. Last time I tried to make a move, now he went up against, Twitty City, tapping the glass, could not get to those. But now returns to a faster track. I think that's going to suit.
I think that's key. When you look at his form and his present form right now, you can see 3 races on the mud. All 3 of those efforts were not good. He tried that optional at Delaware in his last start. He hooked mud, probably a little bit tougher. But now he gets back down to this 3 lifetime condition where you look down his form and you'll see races when running against these types, a win, a second, a win while breaking his maiden for maiden 40. This is the right spot for him. He's going to get the track he likes this afternoon and make the rider Charlie Marquez.
Yeah, I used the number 4, Armando R. He runs well after a break and just gotten one here, and also steps back down to that claiming 16 level. Has run at the optional starter, has won at the optional claiming level over the 2 turns, mile and 16 when we were at Pimlico. So capable of doing well in this spot, and I think I just like the break for him coming in. As we move on to race number 4, which commences the Rainbow Pick 6 sequence. Our analyst Callie Francois created a ticket for us, and she singles in this race. She singles on the number 6 in this spot, which is Bullet Lady for trainer Damon De Lodovico. Nothing but trouble in her last outing. Still showed a strong late kick on the turf. Before that, she had a bad start at Timonium, which, at Timonium, it's all speed, speed, and speed. So if you're not up there, it's going to be tough. Still picked up 4th that day. Now returns here and slightly drops back down as well to try and get that inaugural win on board. Race number 5, 1, 5, and 6 for her. And she spreads throughout the card to try and pick up a price. And I agree with that. I thought it was a tough sequence here. The maiden 10, race number 6, she goes 40, 2, 4, 7, and 9. And then in race number 7, that optional claim starter allowance, she goes 5 deep, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. She sees a blow-up race right there. And then in race number 8, she whittles it down a little bit further. The optional claim were one of them for the 2-year-olds. 2, 4, and 6 in here. Must admit, I have high hopes for the number 2, Owl Loves Josie as well. Race number 9, the final race on the card, she goes with the number 3, Candy Corner for Dove Houghton, as well as the number 5, Expect a Sunrise for Tim Keith, who I have a little bit of interest in as well. $72 flat. Hoping on a big payout here. Of course, Gutsy single in that first leg, as we'll talk about it. Fillies and Mess, 3, 4, and 5-year-old, 6.5 furlongs of distance. Let's talk about Callie's single first. Both of us use her underneath, don't have her on top in here. She's a 5-year-old. She's a half sister to Bullet's Child, who was very, very fast himself, trained by Damon De Lodovico as well. Like, she's had a break. She didn't do bad at all on the turf despite trouble. And like I said, 2 starts before that, stumbled at the break, meaning that that race at Timonium, you're already on the back foot at that point.
You're already on the back foot, but this is a filly that's come her last 4 races. She's had trouble at the gate, or trouble in general. She's her last 4 starts, she's found a bit of a mischief in the race or the runnings. But look, her last 2 races have been okay. That race at Timonium was okay. She gets beat at 2 lengths, and she comes back with a lifetime best on the grass in September. Look, if she can come back with that race this afternoon and run that same type of figure, it's going to be good enough. These maiden 10s, they're a little unreliable.
They are tricky.
They are tricky.
To handicap.
It is a
great
very,
betting
very
races.
great betting races, and they always handle very, very well. But it's a very, very bold single for the Rainbow Pick 6.
Yeah, both you and I use a couple of others. First, you landed on 9 Mass. Let's look back at her last race where she was not having a good time in the gate. We didn't get the chance to put that in there, but she was struggling to kind of try and stand up straight, wasn't she?
Yeah, and what you don't see is 4 or 5 seconds before the break, the rider's looking down, trying to get her to square up in the gate. The assistant starter is trying to work with her, and then once they got her still, the starter sprung the latches as he should. She was standing still, but she was unprepared for the break, and she saw that a whole lot of daylight to her inside. She broke to it. She gets the same situation this afternoon.
Yeah, problematic.
I'm still gonna stay with her. I'm hoping she's gone back to the gate and has schooled. I'm sure Amy Hall has done that. I'm sticking with her because the last 2 races, I'll give her excuses. You saw that in the break. Then she was on the turf the race before, which wasn't a bad race. She gets beat 6 lengths while running 4th.
Yep.
But the last time she ran at this $10,000 level with Georgie Ruiz, who's riding her today, she got beat 1.5 lengths while running 2nd at this level. That was a Pimlico going 5.5. So I'm going to stay on her going 6.5 this afternoon. And even if she doesn't get away the best, she has a little bit more of another furlong to try to overcome anything. So
yeah, I am a little bit worried with that inside draw.
No, I'm not
seeing a
you.
similar scenario unfold here. Let's hope that's not the case. Georgie Ruiz will certainly have seen that and be well prepared to make sure she, he keeps her on the straight and narrow.
Sure.
I landed on the number 2 Tipsy Tourist to try and come up with a bit of a price in here as we want to, right, in the maiden 10 levels. She returned to the main track with a solid bid last time out. Before that, she showed speed on the turf. I think she just enjoys the main track surface a touch better. I think she's going to be well placed with that lower draw. She has that tactical ability. I think that she can do well in this spot.
I do, and I toyed with putting her on top. Ended up using her on my ticket because she could be the speed here. I mean, if she gets to the front, and she could take this field a long way, if not all the way. This is a good spot for her. I think you're absolutely right. She's shown some gas, and I think they'll be using it this afternoon, especially with the inside draw.
Yeah, 4-1 morning line. I hope that kind of sticks because that would be a lovely price to have on her. She gets the job done in here. Stay with us. Just have a quick commercial break coming up. Welcome back to Laurel Park. We're on race number 5, optional claim and start allowance, mile 116 around the 2 turns. And you were already mentioning, Tim, that Galatians is going to very much enjoy getting around those bends twice instead of that elongated stretch that we do see for the 1-turn mile here.
I think so. He's been in reasonably good form going back to June. But when you go back to June, those 2 races at Pimlico, both of those races going around 2 turns. And then, in fact, the next race at Pimlico also was another good effort. A second, beating a neck going 1 mile and 1/8. The race before that, third, beating 3.5 lengths. So that's my first attraction. My second attraction is look at the horses he's been lining up against. Primetime Player and Boss Logic.
Yeah.
And then Gentleman Joe, Brutus, Crucelli, Air Token, who we saw run very, very well, and Halite. So look, he's been lining up against some nice horses. He's getting back to 2 turns. That was enough for me. I'm going to take Galatians. Is my single on my early pick 4 with Horacio Caramanos.
I love it. Yeah, I landed on just in the nick of time. 2 turf outings before this, but look, going 1 mile and 1/8 at Keeneland where he won and he got claimed on the day. I think he's very capable of taking them gate to wire. No question with the distance here, and I think he can just use those 2 bends to even put some more distance between himself and the fielder. Has that low draw to do it as well. So landed on just in the nick of time.
And wait, there's more. He gets Xavier Perez on the fence, has speed, and you're right. The last 3 times this one's run on the main track, he's shown his speed, uses speed. I think you're absolutely right. Xavier Perez will be going right to the front on this one. and hopefully hangs around on all the way for your sake.
Yeah,
Not
well,
mine,
I mean,
because I need the 5.
we know Xavier Perez does
Oh, yeah.
not shy away from
Nope.
placing his horses where he thinks they need to be, and if that's in the front, he is going to get to the front. So I like him on this runner. I think that's exactly what this runner wants to do. Both of us, you'd use Yes Sir Colonel underneath. Also has a good bit of tactical ability. Can rate when needed though, and I like that for him.
Yeah, look, he's been respectable in his last 2 starts, and 2 other than level at Penn National. Some good efforts. Clearly ran into a very, very tough Publius Sirius up there. But look, 3 starts ago here at Laurel Park, it was a decent effort behind Gentleman Joe. The 2 starts before that, big wins with big figures. So he's consistently run well. If he converts some of those races to this afternoon, you certainly can't leave him out, no doubt.
Yeah, you can't. Race number 6, maiden claiming 10 to 8,000 for the 2-year-olds here over that 1-turn mile. And look, this to me was kind of a wide open spread field. I did create a ticket for the late pick 4, and as I highlighted, I wanted to go 4 deep in here. I did not feel like I had a choice. 2, 4, 8, and 9. The 2 notion to tap at my top selection in this spot, stretching out to the mile distance for the first time. But look, this is a tough one to handicap. I use Krug as well for trainer Jerry O'Dwyer, who has gone the distance but didn't really see it out that much after hassling himself around a little bit. Race number 7, I use the 2 and the 6. I feel like Alpha Cairo is the horse to beat there, but Jackie A is coming in here in strong form for trainer Dale Capuano. Then in race 8, optional claimer 1 other than 2, 3, 4, and 6 for me. I feel like these 2-year-olds, a couple of them can step up to the win in here. 6 furlongs the distance. I couldn't separate them as much as wanting to exclude them in my late pick 4 ticket. Race number 9, I closed with the number 5, Expect the Sunrise for Tim Keefe, as well as using the number 7, Scarlet Song, who's coming back after a break for the Clasaris barn and gets a very hot rider in Forest Boyce to hopefully steer her in the right direction here. $32 flat, late pick 4. I see some possible upsets in race 6 and race 8 to get you started with. But let's talk about race 6 here. I was just saying I find these hard to separate. Maiden 10 level, especially the distance here as well. It's just a bit of a question mark for a couple of these.
There certainly is. And I end up on the 9 Krug on top. You have an exacta. This is a first time for O'Dwyer. Look, just toss out the debut race up there at Presque Isle, ducked out at the start, but should be okay. Should be okay this afternoon. Going this mile distance. It comes back with a couple of works here for Jeremiah. First time in the barn, good off this type of layout. Jeremiah is now. I say all that. Does drop to the $10,000 level. I do have a concern with the very outside. He ducked out while being just inside one other horse, and now he has nothing but real estate to the outside of him when he's breaking today. So that is a concern, but I'm going to stick with him, and hopefully Mr. John Geraldo can get him away in a good order. And he's going to break to the outside a little bit. Most of them do with all that real estate, but hopefully he doesn't take that hard right.
Yeah, I landed on the number 2, notion to tap it for trainer Hamilton Smith. Returns, actually stretches out for the first time. Has run over the 7 furlongs before, but wasn't a part of that at all. Drops to the lowest level of his career. I think he's got the ability to be a bit closer to the pace and maybe even take over halfway through and try to get brave. I feel like that's probably going to help them here. Anyone that, ends up on the front maybe gets brave and sees out the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I expect him to be in front. I mean,
I think so as well.
Coming out of a 5.5 furlong sprint where he was not far off of. He's only 3 lengths off of it early. He was behind a next out winner in that race, and he's probably the one to beat. Hammy Smith, just a touch below the industry average when he stretches one out, about 12%. Couple of work cents, but I agree. Now he's on the fence with the scratch of the one high rock.
Yep.
As long as he gets away well, I think he's going to be very well placed early on, if not in front.
And how about I'm Not Slow, the number 8? I struggled to place him. He now stretches out even further. Tired after being asked to stay with the pack early. I just haven't seen him finish a race yet.
No, we haven't. But he does get a little more class relief this afternoon.
Yeah.
He's stretching out to a mile, which Claudio is very good, about 24%, and he gets that drop. He's getting 4 to 11 pounds from the field. So, and a few of these horses he's getting 11 pounds from. So I'm going to put my weight in that, so to speak. But yeah, he's got to get better, but he's found a good group to get better here this afternoon.
He certainly has. The race number 7, optional claimer start, allowing 6 furlongs the distance. Look, both of us are very confident in Alpha Kairo's ability. Let's look back at his last race where he was able to hold on, except just getting overtaken by Semper Fi there. But I thought it was a tenacious effort because he was battling on the lead with Algebraic. Algebraic backed up. Alpha Kairo went on, and unfortunately for him, Semper Fi had the perfect sort of trip behind him. You can see the 5 there, and just made full use of that. That was no fault of Alpha Kairo. He dug in.
Heck no. He did all the work. And, the winner, Semper Fi, just drafted behind the speed, and Alpha Kairo kept on trying all the way down there. Now, the horse on the inside, Algebraic, he would come back and win the other day. He was my best bet of the day, and he got the job done. But look, he hangs in there. I mean, at the top of the stretch, it looked like Semper Fi was going to go right by him. So after fighting with Algebraic that whole way, he still gave Semper Fi a little bit of a fight through the stretch. So I think he's going to be very, very tough here this afternoon. He's in very good form, running mid to high 70 Beyer Spigot.
I was tempted to single on him, but I'm afraid of the number 2, Jackie A, for trainer Dale Capuano. In very, very good form, was able to sit behind, swing out, and drive home. Now, I'm afraid in terms of, Dale Capuano, who's been doing really well with his runners. This runner is coming off the back of a win, showed significant improvement when getting back to the sprinting distances here. I think he can continue that.
I agree, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see Jackie A even improve some more. Now, he fired a lifetime best in that last race where he won. That was a good, solid number. We know these horses can continue to get a little bit better in the Dale Capuano barn. But this is a horse who's run some good races in the past. Before he was in the Dale Capuano barn 3 starts back. That was a good race, and that's state bred allowance race. Fired a 69 that day and a few others on his form. But yes, Jackie A is a little scary because you expect him to get even better. Georgie Ruiz, Dale Capuano, well, they're lighting it up 28%, and Dale's horses will win 2 in a row about 21% of the time. So, yeah, a lot to like.
Yeah, I key around these 2 horses in this race in terms of my late pick for the 2 and the 6. Race number 8, first level optional claimer for the 2-year-old, 6 furlongs the distance. A couple of intriguing horses in here. Let's start with Owl Loves Josie. Let's look back at his maiden breaking score. Came into it after perhaps a little bit of a subpar effort in the Maryland Million nursery, but returned like the horse that clearly the barn thinks he is. I mean, I was speaking with the team there, and they were saying we don't put a horse in first time out in a stakes race if we don't think they're any good. And Owl Loves Jolie duly rewarded them with the confidence.
It certainly did. Now, I want you to look straight away. I mean, he runs a great race here. He was very fast early. I hear that here's a Script. We'll keep an eye on Script, who comes up in between them. But look, Owl Loves Joey over that racetrack rated good was not hanging around. 22 flat, 45-1, 57-3. He's got some gas. He's got some gas. He's going to make a problem for my top pick and the favorite, or 7-2. 7-2 favorite on the line. Actually, not quite there, but Romaninski for Claudio Gonzalez, because Owl Loves Josie is very, very fast. They're going to have to run hard to keep up with him, and he could take them all the way.
Yeah, I think he can. But look, I like Romaninski on top. I know the barn's very high on this 2-year-old. Clearly did terrifically well on debut and did it the hard way, right? In that maiden 40. He had to duel for it, then prevailed, kicked clear. It wasn't an easy feat whatsoever.
No, it was not at all, and he did go to the front. He ran a big number. It's going to be interesting to see how they play it, because Owl Loves Josie looks faster early than Romaninski does. I mean, 22 and change, 46. So if he wants to be in front, he's going to really have to work for it. And some duel could develop, but maybe they choose to just lay off Owl Loves Josie, which if I might choose to be the instructions, because I can look at it and see that he's probably not as fast. And Xavier Perez, John Ross.
They're going to go.
They're coming
Yeah,
out
of
with their
course
tail
they are.
on fire, and it works for them, and it might work for them again today.
It worked for them in the Politely
did.
Stakes with Princess Kokochin, so why change your winning strategy? Perhaps you use him in second American Playboy, comes to that late closing run because he's going to just sit behind those pacemakers.
He will. He ran on the grass in his last start. It was a good effort. He only gets beat 3 lengths while running third, but breaking his maiden for the maiden 40, that was a nice race where he laid off the pace. Very professional race, came with a good finish, ran a good solid number in a 66. And I guess we've got to talk about the 6 Kenner, the morning line favorite. For Jamie Ness, who came up with a huge race in his last start. Big number against state-bred New York breds. We've talked about it before. A lot of times it's easy to run really big when you're running against easier company. So we'll have to see how that converts this afternoon.
Yeah, well, look, the New York bred program isn't the easiest to win in, so I do give him some credit for that race. But yeah, you're right. We'll have to see how he fares against these. Really like race 8 today. Actually, I think it's a terrific.
It's a nice race.
Yeah, I think we're very, very much are going to see a possible star coming out of that race, moving on to the to Stakes Company. Maiden claiming 10,000. Final race on the card. Race number 9, 6.5 furlongs the distance. Look, I can go plenty of ways in here, Tim. You landed on the number 3 Candy Corner. We of course had that late scratch. The number 4 Bells Will Be Ringing, who both you and I liked a lot in this spot. But Candy Corner, has to still get it done. But I think the stretch out might help her a little.
I think so. I'm getting back on the main track after that turf try. This will be 4th off a layoff. First time at this level on the main track here at Laurel, or second time in that last start. Was a good race. Finishes in between 2 next out winners and Little Miss Scarlet and Gypsy's Image. So, yeah, I think it's her race to win this afternoon. I mean, clearly was helped out with the scratch of the 8-5 morning line favorite. Bells will be ringing, but still has to do it. But I'll stick with her. The 5, Expect the Sunshine, got some speed.
Yeah.
Got some speed. This one, I would think Kevin Gomez is going to go straight on out there and see how long that he can take them.
Yeah, I remember seeing her in the paddock last summer, kind of big, cold looking lady, so a lot of muscle to her. So I'd like her to go to the front and hopefully get the job done here with her. I also have some interest in Scarlet Song, who's also pretty rapid early. But let's discuss what happened yesterday during the 3 stakes event in Lightning Round. Her first stakes event was the City of Laurel. Thought it was possibly going to be Everett Song versus He's My Honey Badger, but picking time with a tenacious move on the outside for trainer Kelly Breen. Michael Sanchez aboard showed them all that he got what it takes.
Yeah, he got what it takes. He also got a rough trip for He's a Honey Badger, was in trouble for most of the trip. Not going to take anything away from picking time, because that was a big race, and he came in. I had him on my ticket. He came in with some nice races and was more than capable of winning that race. Got an assist as Everett Song wasn't ready. I was afraid of that. Talked about it in pre-race. And then He's My Honey Badger had trouble virtually the whole trip. So, look, big race, and happy for Kelly Breen. He sends a lot of horses down here to run, so it's kind of kept in the family.
Yeah, well, I guess he does do very well with his runners here, and of course, picking time already graded stakes victor in the Nashua Stakes.
I wish he would just give up that Monmouth thing and come here. Come on, dude.
Do you hear that, Mr. Breen? Come down here with your horses. We'd be glad to have you. He does very well with his runners here. In the next stakes was the Fillies 7 furlong contest, which was the Safely Kept. We did see regally bred Belle of the North reel in the Lacey Goddard trained fraudulent charge late, but what a race that was.
It really was. She drew the 1 hole going 7/8 of a mile, never the place to be. She's never a particularly good breaker, but Jose Corrales called it in the paddock in the pre-race soundbite that you did. Look, we're not going to get away. We're going to come late. And if we're good enough, we're good enough. And she certainly was good enough, saved some ground all the way around the turn, kick to the outside, clean air. Game over, $20.60.
Yeah. And I spoke with trainer Jose Corrales afterward. It was quite an emotional victory for him because Belle of the North, her Damn Hardy Rose, a half sister to Zenyatta, so a well-bred filly for Frank Stronach, for one of his biggest owners. It means something to get that stakes victory on board. So very much happy to see it, and congratulations to those. And then in the final stakes race, we saw the veteran runner, I think favorite of everyone here, Cordmaker. You can see Cordmaker gets it done again, trained by Rodney Jenkins, of course, regular rider Victor Carrasco on board in the Dickey Small Stakes. Look, he still has it. He comes with a run no matter what. He can go to the front. He can come from behind. He runs.
Yeah, he does. And I love what Rodney and Victor have done with this horse over the last 4 or 5 starts. He used to be a little bit of a deep closer over the last few starts, and he would run into trouble. He ran into a lot of trouble in some of those races. They've been keeping him closer now. He's just drafting in behind the lead, staying in the clear, and coming with that run. He just put his earnings up over $700,000 yesterday, getting his 11th lifetime win. So, yeah, congratulations to Rodney and everybody involved with Cordmaker. It was a good looking win. Again, $12.20.
Prices galore throughout the stakes day, the stakes and the race day yesterday. And a bit of news, because as of next week, we will be returning to a 3-day live racing meet. So don't come to the track to expect to see live racing on Thursday, but do join us if you want, of course, play some of the other courses that are running through the United States with our simulcast facilities. But we'll be back with live racing on Friday, won't we?
We will. 12:25 first post. Just give everyone a little extra time to get some Christmas shopping done. 3 days a week.
Exactly.
You watch the wallet a little bit and come out over the next those 3 days over the weekend. And then also a change toward the end of the month. We run the day after Christmas and the day after that. So 2 days after Christmas. And the day after Christmas here is always a really, really big day. I always look forward to that day. Boxing Day from your parts.
Actually, we call it second
north.
Christmas Day in the Netherlands. So we have 2 days of Christmas, even better.
Yeah,
right?
We call it Boxing Day for our Canadian friends. And so we hope that it looks there. So, yeah, 3 days a week starting next week, and then an extra day after Christmas.
Yeah, I love it. Hope to see you all there. And look, if you want to see some horse flash, come and join us in the morning hours to see the horses work out. I'm pretty sure you're always around as well. And it's a terrific site here at Laurel Park.
Yeah, I'm always here. Most mornings I am here.
It is.